Okay, I know I'm not that stupid, so is the character being that stupid? Or are you making her behave like she's that stupid for my benefit, which I don't appreciate because I'm definitely not that stupid. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Just another struggling writer. The Beleaguered Authors one-stop shop for commiseration and hopefully inspiration. My name is Carrie Scher, and I am just another struggling writer. Well, for today's video, I am doing a reading vlog, and not just any reading vlog, a catching up reading vlog. At the beginning of this year, I set the goal of reading 75 books, which may not seem a lot to some veteran booktubers, but it's a lot for me. Last year, I think I only read like 35, so 75 would more than double what I got last year. And through most of the year, I was mostly keeping pace, maybe a few behind. And then my depressive episode hit last month, and now I am very behind. It is now almost the end of November, and according to my Goodreads tracker, I need 11 books to catch up. Do I think I'm gonna hit that? No. But maybe I can hit 70 and exactly double what I did last year, which would mean I need 6 books before the end of the year, which is way more doable. So to that end, I am trying to motivate myself to read more, and I have found over this last year that one of the best ways to get me excited about reading is to select a completely random book out of my TBR Mimic jar. So that's what I'm doing this week. It's been a while since I've used this guy, so if you don't recall, what I have done is every book I own, be that physical, ebook, or audiobook, I have entered into my book library spreadsheet and given it a number. I have put each number on a scrap of paper and put it in here, so it is truly random. It wasn't sorted by author name or title. It was kind of put together by when I purchased the book, but like I said, for the most part, it's random, especially when you give it a good shake. So, as I said, to motivate myself to pick up a book again and try and work towards a slightly amended reading goal, we're going to get back to my roots and make a random selection. Now, this guy is pretty full. Honestly, I should probably take all of these out and check them against my spreadsheet because I've read books without drawing the number out, and so there are probably some in here that shouldn't be, and then there are also like later entries of a series when I haven't read the first or the ones that preceded it, so it may not be a completely random draw, but it's going to be as close as we're going to get. So here is my number. I tried to go for the bottom, and yet we got a high number, 185. Okay, so 185 corresponds to the sequel of a book that I read a few years ago and really liked, but I had tagged it to reread. So I don't think I'll be doing that just yet. Let's try it again. How many times can we random draw before I'll get one where I don't have an excuse? Let's find out. Okay, all right, here's another one. 94. Number 94 corresponds to Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Sue Lynn Tan. This is a young adult fantasy, and that's really all I got for you. The synopsis reads, growing up on the moon, Xing Yin is accustomed to solitude, unaware that she is being hidden from the feared celestial emperor who exiled her mother for stealing his elixir of immortality. But when Xing Yin's magic flares and her existence is discovered, she is forced to flee her home, leaving her mother behind. Alone, powerless, and afraid, she makes her way to the Celestial Kingdom, a land of wonder and secrets. Disguising her identity, she seizes an opportunity to learn alongside the Emperor's son, mastering archery and magic, even as passion flames between her and the prince. To save her mother, Xing Yin embarks on a perilous quest, confronting legendary creatures and vicious enemies across the earth and skies. However, when treachery looms and forbidden magic threatens the kingdom, she must challenge the ruthless celestial emperor for her dream, striking a dangerous bargain in which she is torn between losing all she loves and plunging the realm into chaos. So this is the start of a young adult duology. I do own the sequel, so I can pick it up if I end up liking this one, but it is a little chunky, almost 500 pages in this edition. Whether or not I'm going to get through this expeditiously, I'm not quite sure yet, but this is what the fates have chosen, and so this is what we'll be reading. I will be checking in with you throughout the process. I like to do 10%, 25%, 50% at the end, so I will check in with you again once I've read 50%. Hello everyone, it is now Tuesday evening and I have just reached the 10% mark of Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Sue Lynn Tan, and it's hard for me to really decipher how I feel about this book so far because it is a YA and it definitely reads like a YA, and I don't really like a lot of YA. When I read YA, I tend to grade them a little bit on a curve. There have been YAs in the past that I have enjoyed the plot well enough to ignore the more juvenile tone. And there have been YA books where I thought that the age of the characters and the way they behaved made sense. This book is about Xingyin, who is the daughter of the moon goddess. It says it right there on the tin. But the catch is that her mother was not intended to be the moon goddess. It is widely believed that she tricked her way into the position, and Xingyin is nobody actually knows about her except her mother because she was born in captivity. Her mother, the moon goddess, gave birth to her after she attained her position, but didn't tell anyone and has kept her a secret all these years. At the beginning of the story, in an effort to protect her daughter, her mother sends Xingyin away because it seems as though their secret was about to be discovered, and they didn't know what might happen if Xingyin was found to be alive. Currently, Xingyin is just trying to make her way as a maid, trying to find some semblance of a life after she was sent away from the moon and her life of luxury with her mother. And that's where I'm at. And all of that was established in the first 50 pages. I think this does a very typical YA thing where it just kind of rushes through the premise to get to the good parts, which is part of the reason I don't love YA. I like to kind of linger in the setting and the character motivations and the lore, but it is what it is. I'm not going to hold that against it because it's just part and parcel of YA, I feel like. So not too much to say. There have been moments where Xingyin behaved foolishly like a child, and there are moments where she showed adaptability, surprising adaptability, and cunning. So I have hope for her, but I just don't know enough just yet in these first 3 chapters. I don't know how much reading I am going to get done over the next couple of days. I've got a big day tomorrow, not just work and trying to cram in the end of the month stuff that I always have to do, but also I've got an appointment in the evening, and then my kids and I are going to go see Wicked late at night, which will take up the entire rest of my evening. So reading tomorrow may not be a thing. And then, of course, Thursday is the holiday. I am going to try and get a little bit done tomorrow and then hopefully hit the 25% mark by Thursday. And I will just have to see what goes from there. After that, I don't have anything going on. I've got the long weekend. So at least there's that. But I will check in with you once I hit the 25% mark and let you know my thoughts. Hello, everyone. It is now Friday evening, the day after Thanksgiving. It's been a couple days since we last spoke. There have not been a lot of great reading opportunities. Wednesday, I had a couple of things going on. I read a little bit. Did I update on Wednesday? I don't remember. I took my daughter to an appointment. I did get some reading done there. And then the rest of my evening, we went and saw Wicked, which we all really enjoyed. None more surprised by that than me. And then Thursday, of course, was Thanksgiving, family day. I did read a little bit, maybe 20 pages. And then today, I finally hit the 25% mark of Daughter of the Moon Goddess. So I have some thoughts, some updated thoughts. You may notice that I have done quite a bit of tabbing. Here's the problem. I'm actually really bored. I'm bored. I must admit. I can tell this is a YA, and I don't think the YA part of it is bothering me. I think what's bothering me is just I don't feel a lot of emotional depth from the main character. I think it's just the writing style. It feels a little bit shallow, and maybe that is because it's YA. I do have the tendency to think that YA writing is a little bit more shallow, but I don't think that that's the case here. I think it's just, I don't know, I'm 125 pages in, and the main character had to run away from home because her secret existence was about to be discovered. Her escape to safety was interrupted. They were pursued, and she managed to separate from the person who was kind of chaperoning her to safety, and she just crash landed somewhere and has kind of had to make her own way. And in so doing, she has become the friend and companion of the prince, and they've just spent the last 2 years and change just chilling, taking lessons and being friends. And that's really been like the last 60 pages, and I'm just bored. I don't really know what the plot is supposed to be. There was kind of like a hint that we just got right at that 25% mark that I think is supposed to give us an indication of what she's going to do next. But I'm just sort of like, what's the conflict here? What's the goal? Her goal is to be able to go home and free her mother who is imprisoned on the moon, I guess. They're immortal, so time, the 2 years that she spent with the prince is essentially meaningless other than they're friends and they've learned a lot. But like I said, I'm just sort of... what's the point? And the fact that this is 500 pages tells me like there's a lot in here that we didn't need. And we've spent 60 pages talking about their friendship and I just don't feel it very much. I feel like their banter is extremely forced and kind of out of character. It's so hard to say, like, it just doesn't feel natural for who this character is supposed to be. Before she had to run away from home, she literally met 0 people besides her mother and her mother's attendant. 0. So she knew 2 people, and yet she's having this friendly, witty banter with the prince, and the prince is like totally like, oh, you're so natural and so real. Like, it just doesn't feel genuine for the circumstances. And also it just feels kind of generic and not necessarily accurate to like her inner thoughts. I can't say that I'm loving this. I'm bored. I'm not connecting with the main character. I do think I like the prince. He is very consistent in his characterization, but he's also sort of generic good guy prince, black sheep of his family who are assholes. You know. That being said, I am going to try and get to the 50% mark tonight. It is quite late and I still have some other work to do, but it is Friday night, so I can stay up as late as I want. We'll see. But I do kind of have the feeling that I'm like overcompensating with the tabs because I'm so bored. I'm just like, anything even remotely interesting is getting a tab. There is some beautiful language in here. I just don't think that it is ultimately meaningful. We'll see. That's that. So again, my goal is to get to at least 50% tonight and then try and finish it out tomorrow so that I can finish another book. I want to be able to finish it tomorrow so that I can have enough time to finish another book so that I can say that I read 2 books in this vlog. I am at the 52% mark of The Last Graduate, which has been sitting on my nightstand for a month. 6 weeks, a while. And so I only have like 200 more pages of this. So if I sit down and really like focus on reading tomorrow, yeah, even less than that, like 160. If I sit down and focus on reading tomorrow, and if I get to the 50% mark of this tomorrow, I think I can probably finish both. At least if not by tomorrow, then by Sunday. Again, assuming I get homework done as well. So that's my goal. If I get to that 50% mark, I will check in with you in the morning, but it really just depends on my energy level. It has been a day. I didn't get a nap, and I love naps. Naps are how I get through my day pretty much because I usually wake up pretty early. Like just my body naturally wakes up at like 7 or 7:30. I say that's pretty early. It's pretty early for me. And then I cannot go back to sleep until I do something. I get up and do something. So either I will get up and I will go to my computer and I'll pillow fart around for like an hour, hour and a half, or I'll lay in bed and I'll play, I'll do like the Wordle and stuff for like an hour, and then I can roll over and go back to sleep. This morning, I did it, but I didn't sleep very well. Like after I went back to sleep, I didn't sleep very well. And so I still feel very, very tired. And then just like my stats homework today was awful. I really was struggling with it. I was like literally yelling at it that I didn't understand it. And I've still got to get some writing done. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I will check in with you once I hit the 50% mark. Maybe it'll be tomorrow morning when I wake up of Daughter of the Moon Goddess. Listen, I'm sorry. I try not to shit on authors, especially authors who are published, because where do I get off a person who is not published criticizing? But we just had a moment where the main character finds a bow, and this is how it's described. A bow strung with shining gold cord and carved of green jade, a dragon from its magnificent head at the tip arching to its tail at the lower limb. And then like a paragraph or 2 later, it says, Captain Wenji's eyes were bright as he bent to pick it up. The jade dragon bow, in all capitals, he murmured, running his palm along its carvings. The recognition in his tone startled me. How do you know? Have you seen it before? It's a bow, carved of jade, shaped like a dragon. And its name is the Jade Dragon. Like, come on, bitch. Come on. How do you know? Anyway, you couldn't think of anything else to say or any other way to transition to this next whatever. Hey y'all, checking in with a quick reading update. I know last night I mentioned that I was going to try and get to the 50% mark before I went to bed. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. I read about 50 more pages, but didn't quite get to that 50% mark. But I did that today. I am now at the 50% mark of The Daughter of the Moon Goddess. And really all I can say about this book is that it's so boring. It is so boring. This book is so boring. A little bit more is happening now, at least. The main character has joined the army, and she is determined to basically distinguish herself as like one of the most valuable warriors who has done extraordinary deeds on behalf of the empire so that she can be recognized and earn a favor from the emperor, which she intends to use to free her mother. Her mother has offended the emperor in the past and is now imprisoned on the moon for eternity. That's her goal. So she's just sort of pushing herself in training and trying to do these like extraordinary heroic feats, all in quest to earn this favor from the emperor. She had a love interest in the beginning part of the book. You know, their relationship did not end well. She is now having some sort of romantic leanings towards like her friend in the army, who is sometimes her commander, sometimes not, apparently. That's really it. I feel like this could be interesting, but it's just not. It's just very boring. I'm so sorry. I will say that it's very easy to read, so I do intend on finishing it out despite the fact that this will not get more than a 3-star from me. Yeah, it's just a big disappointment. It's just very boring. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the writing style, which doesn't seem to favor any sort of character moments beyond the surface level. I don't feel very close to the main character despite being exclusively in her head. Everything just feels, I don't know if surface level is the right word, but I don't know. I just don't feel a very strong connection to this character or her motivations. And the way that the story has been told so far has been just boring, I regret to say. So that's where I'm at. Like I said, just hit the 50% mark. No idea what's going to come in the last half of this book. Again, like I know kind of what her goal is, but I don't really see the shape of the plot. And I feel like I should at this point. I mean, I should have at the 25% mark, and I definitely didn't know then. Who knows? Maybe she'll get her favor. Maybe not. I know there is another book which I own and will probably read, to be honest with you, just because it is so readable and I would love to finish a series for once. A little bit disappointed. I am tabbing a lot. There is that. There have been some moments and some poignancy that I have enjoyed. And like some of it is just so beautifully written. I feel like this author has potential. There's just something about this book and this story and this character that isn't working for me. But then you also have moments, like I mentioned before, where it's just like, okay, I know I'm not that stupid, so is the character being that stupid? Or are you making her behave like she's that stupid for my benefit, which I don't appreciate because I'm definitely not that stupid. I would like to finish this today, but it's not likely. Maybe there is, like, it is broken into 3 parts. So maybe if I get to part 3 tonight, let's see, that would be another 75 pages. I could do 75 pages tonight and then 120 pages tomorrow. It really just depends because I still have homework to do. I still have writing to do. I have to film a video tomorrow as well and edit a video. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a break. I'm going to get some writing done. I'm going to get some homework done. I'm going to try out and knock out at least one assignment so I'm not leaving both assignments till tomorrow, and then spend the rest of the evening reading as much as I can. Like I said, it's going pretty quickly. I feel like I'm reading it pretty fast, and I think I probably would be reading it faster if I weren't annotating it, because there are times where like my eyes are just glossing over like certain descriptions. She describes clothing and food a lot. And I just don't care about that. And then like, because I'm annotating, I'm like trying to make myself focus and reread the passages that I feel myself skimming over. I'm not going to change that approach. I'm committed to annotating this entire book, so I'm not reading it quite as quickly as I could be. That is my last check-in, so the next time you see me, I will have finished the book unless I have any more immediate commentary. Y'all, I'm so motherfucking sick of these motherfucking men. Girl, they're both shitty. Fuck them both. And fuck them both. Y'all, I don't want to read this book anymore. I do not want to read this book anymore. I am at page 380, which is 75%. And we've just had another plot twist about one of the stupid boys in the stupid love triangle. And I don't care. I don't care. I haven't cared in a while. I haven't cared at all, really. I don't want to read this book anymore, but I'm at 75%. And if I don't finish, then this whole week would have been for nothing. I have to finish a book. I have to finish a book to make progress on my reading goal. I have to. I'm so bored. I don't care. I'm gonna finish, but I'm not happy about it. Hello, everyone. It is now Sunday afternoon, and I have finally finished Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Sue Lynn Tan. And unfortunately, my thoughts really didn't change. After that last clip, I did end up just sort of skimming through the last 25%, which I kind of regret because now knowing what the plot beats are of that last 25%, I think I might have actually liked it. To be honest with you, I was just so exhausted at that point that I couldn't bring myself to deeply read another 120 pages. And I think that in and of itself is kind of the crux of what my problem with this book is that it's too long. I think it's probably about 100 pages at least too long, and that the pacing is all over the map and ended up hurting the overall plot, which I do think, when I sit down and really think about it, is a good one. It's just that the plot only takes up like 50% of the narrative oxygen. And then like the romance and the love triangle is like 30%. And then like the last 20% is like unnecessary flowery prose and moments that don't really do much for the story and subplots that ultimately felt meaningless. I wasn't really a big fan of the love triangle, especially since with the way that it ended, it didn't really feel like it did anything. It didn't really serve the plot. It didn't really change the outcome of anything. I think the author probably could have gotten away with changing the shape of that subplot and making it a little less focused on the relationship between the two characters and more on, anyway, I don't want to get into spoilers, but I liked the way that it resolved, but I didn't like the way that it was set up. I would have changed all of that and then kept the ending the same. I just felt like this book it meandered in places it didn't need to and sped through moments it should have lingered in. It started out very, very boring, and then there were moments of excitement and then 100 more pages of boring. So unfortunately, for that reason, I'm probably just going to go ahead and give this like a 2.5 stars. That being said, I do own the second book in the duology. What is it called? Heart of the Sun Warrior. And I probably will read it, if only because I own it and I would love to be able to finish a series for a change. And then once I'm done with that one, I'll probably put them both up on my Pango. Unfortunately, this vlog was meant to help me get back on track with my reading goal, and it took me the entire week to read one book. Now, granted, it was 500 pages and there was a holiday, so maybe that's not entirely unexpected. Now it is Sunday afternoon and I do still have to edit this video together, but despite my better judgment, I'm going to try and finish one more book for this vlog. And for that, I'm going to try and squeeze in the last half of The Last Graduate by Naomi Novik. I am really liking this book and I am already 50% of the way through. There's just under 200 pages left. Now, to be fair, I do have some homework I still need to do and some writing I still need to do. And of course, I need to leave myself enough time to edit. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get in bed. I woke up with a migraine. I've been in and out of bed all morning. I'm still sort of feeling the effects of it, but I'm going to try and get as much of this read as possible because I'm already at the 50% mark. And because this is the second book in a series, I'm probably not going to talk about it too much, but I would love to check off 2 books on my reading goal for this vlog instead of just the one. So I will check in with you before the end of this vlog to let you know if I managed to finish The Last Graduate.